click go live on YouTube. So y'all know how I do, where I literally just always just come in before the timer finishes counting down. Finishes counting down. Anyways, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel where we talk about music licensing, music production, and music business. If you love any of the previously mentioned, be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date on all my latest content. So we are back for another live. So as you guys are coming in, let me know where you're from. Let me know what you do. Let me know what you struggle with. And we're about to hop into these questions. I see a couple people already got some questions in. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to Charles Jefferson. Good to see you guys again. I got Instagram right here. They're watching me kind of behind the scenes, but they're dropping dope questions too. So we're going to do a little tag team joint like we did a couple weeks ago. I think it was like, I don't know, like back April 16th, something like that. So yeah, so that's what's up, man. Let me know where y'all from. We got Wichita, Kansas in the building, Philly, audio engineers, man, everybody's in here. Somebody says, who's the go-to music supervisor? All of them. There's like literally, there's not like just one music supervisor to pitch everything to, dude. That'll be one stressed out person. I guarantee that. But yeah, man, it's so many. Like, it's not one person just working on these productions. It's not one person working on all the shows, all the movies. It's a team of people, man. So many different companies, music supervisors, all of that stuff. So question from Jake Yo, how do you get such a commercially competitive low end on your kicks and bass sounds? Also, if you weren't already planning on discussing it, could you talk a little about getting placements as a songwriter? Man, so the kick and the bass. So the secret sauce is having them hit in their own frequency range, right? So you can't have an 808 and a kick both hitting at the exact same range, or it can get muddy and then they're competing for the same space. So there's a couple ways to combat that. And I go in depth in my mixing course, but the first way is you can do what's called side chain compression. So what that does is you put a compressor on the 808. You tell that compressor every time the kick comes in, I need you to get quiet because that kick is coming and I don't want you to be as loud. So that's one way. The second way is, and I use a combination of both, but the second way is carving out like the lower part of the EQ. So like the 30 and 50 range on the low end, carve that out of the EQ on the kick and just leave, the punchy part of the kick, and then let the 808 fill in those lower frequencies. So like, I don't know, about 50 down, 80 down, something like that. So those are a couple ways to do it. And yeah, it's trial and error for real. Like it took years to really get to the point where I can get them hitting the way I want and like not competing, and then just listening back to other mixes. So yeah, and then as far as getting placements as a songwriter, it's the same approach as a producer, right? So like the process looks the same, except you're looking for companies that pitch songs and play songs, and some of them do everything. They pitch instrumentals and full songs, and you have some where they're kind of like boutique and they represent a roster of artists and things like that. So you can look for companies like that. It's just a matter of finding out, which company would fit well with what you do, what kind of music you do. So yeah, so that's pretty much that in a nutshell. Shout out to Philip. What's up? Charles Jefferson says, what methods of submitting music would be best for someone without any placements? I have my music formatted. So there, the method is just start submitting. Like Google the companies and then just start submitting. Reach out to them. Introduce yourself. I don't start by like just flooding them with links and emails and MP3s and stuff. I'll just introduce myself and then ask them if they're accepting submissions. And then just start the process and just replicate that. Submit, wait for them. Well, not wait, but when they hit back, respond accordingly. But while you're waiting, keep submitting to other companies. So, which brings up a good point. So this is something I want to talk about, and I notice a lot of people do it, right? So analysis paralysis. Some people, especially like planners or just really organized people, and I was talking to a friend about this too, but some people wait and they want to get like all their ducks lined up in a row and just wait until everything is perfect, until their mix is perfect, production is perfect, their email pitch is perfect, like everything has to be perfect before they even start. and that will literally keep you stuck and keep you from starting. So like, don't get caught up on like everything being perfect. Like your first email may be trash, like and I mean your first track, your first beat, it may be trash, but you won't know until you start putting it out there, until you start submitting it. So get enough information. And honestly, just watching these live streams, these live Q&As, get enough information to start. And then once you're in it, like you'll start learning as you go. But if you wait for perfection, you will never start, because you're just like, yo, it has to be perfect. Meanwhile, the game is changing like every day that you're waiting, trying to get everything perfect based off yesterday's information, right? So if you're in the mix, if you're active, like you're learning as you go, and then you're growing as things change. So like, don't get stuck like in this analysis paralysis state, just waiting for things to be perfect. Just start, take the information you have and just go, like, because you know, like you just gotta make it happen. Gotta get out there and learn from experience. So that's a big thing that I see a lot of people do, man. They like, yo, I need to have the perfect beat, the perfect mix, the perfect master, the perfect format, the perfect library, the perfect music supervisor. Like, it doesn't exist, man. Like, and you'll realize it once you get started. Like, it's different for everybody. What's up, Philip from Milwaukee? Question is, I'm a music producer from Milwaukee. Should you register your beats before you submit them to a library, or should you do that once you've been accepted? So registering with BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, your pro, that is usually done by the music libraries, because they're essentially the publishers, right? So they, like, once your track gets accepted, they'll usually go through the process of registering everything for you. Excuse me, I'm burping live again. So yeah, you don't really have to worry about it. Like, I would ask them just to be sure, so you're not like just out here getting placements and ain't getting royalties because your stuff ain't registered. But just ask them, like, do you do this for me? Is this something I have to worry about? And they'll let you know. Like, no, like, I've never worked with a library where they just like intentionally withhold important information from you, because like it's like everybody's payment is attached to that registration. Like, they don't get royalties if it's not registered. And then sometimes they make mistakes during the registration, so sometimes you got to kind of go check your BMI, your ASCAP, your CSAC, make sure your name is right, make sure it's, you know, it's listed under the right title and all that stuff, so everything tracks back to you and the publisher. Because I have caught a couple mistakes before, and then they cool about it. Like, you just let them know, yo, this is definitely not me, and they'll go in and change it for you. So yeah, nothing to stress about, you know, before you start submitting. Shout out to the new people coming in, man. Let me know where y'all from and what you do. Don Music, what's good? Appreciate that, man. Marley the Great says he's guilty of analysis paralysis. Hey, man, I get it. I've been there too. Don Music, welcome back. The question is, when you submit to music libraries, do you submit one track at a time or multiple tracks in the form of an album? I'm thirsty. Give me a second. A combination of both. Depends, right? So I just finished a brief for a library, and I submitted 3 tracks. Sometimes if it's like a super quick deadline and like a specific brief for like a commercial or something, I'm gonna probably only be able to get 1 track done. Like, I'm not gonna try and knock out 5 tracks in 12 hours, like nothing crazy like that. But it depends on the situation. And then sometimes I'm commissioned to do to do like a whole album or like a half an album or something like that. So you know, it's a case by case scenario. The goal is like, if you have the time, do as many as you can do. Like don't try and like get away with like the bare minimum, right? If you put in bare minimum work, you're gonna get bare minimum results. That's a fact. So if you have time to do 5 tracks, do 5 tracks. If you only have time to do 1 track, then just do 1 track. But like, try and do something. It's a numbers game. You gotta get as many out there without sacrificing the quality. So that would be my answer to that. That's a good question. We got Marley from Philly. I'm a female producer, engineer, songwriter from Philly. Any suggestions on Beat Block? How do you feel about posting tracks on YouTube? So Beat Block, you can get some new sounds. That inspires me. New sounds, new plugins. Do a different genre that you don't do all the time. If you're able to do that. Collaborations help. New people bring new ideas. As far as posting tracks on YouTube, I say go for it. I mean, again, it goes back to depending on the situation. If you're allowed to, if it's signed into an agreement, could cause issues, but I don't see anything wrong with it, as long as you can do it contractually, I guess. But yeah, I would post it out there, put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't sit on music. Somebody, if you're trying to sell beats, people are on YouTube like every day, like a bunch of people. So put it out there, put it wherever you can so people can hear it and hear your music. And then you start getting feedback. Then you know what you need to work on. You know what people like, and you're able to make future decisions based off the feedback and the response that you're getting from putting your music out there. So dope. Appreciate you coming through, Marley. Betsy B, what's good, Betsy B? I use a lot of virtual software instruments, Native Instruments, East West Machine, my Yamaha motif keys, etc. Is it better to use at least one live instrument with this set? Man, shout out to the motif. Yo, I miss my motif. I had a motif, motif 7, and this just took me down memory lane. Anyways, it just felt good. Like the keys on that joint was great. But I mean, it doesn't matter to an extent. It depends on what you're doing, right? So if you're doing like more sound design work for companies, they may want you to use, live instruments, hardware, sounds, and instruments, to create samples and stuff like that. I've been in that situation before, but honestly, I went and bought something for a week and then took it back like 2 weeks later or whatever. But honestly, man, you can do everything with virtual instruments now. Like the sound, you have Native Instruments. Like that's like the best you can get, in my opinion. East West, super dope stuff. So I like all my stuff. I try and use software because it just makes it easier to change and make edits. Because sometimes, people they want to swap out a sound, and if you're playing all that stuff live and they ask you like, yo, this synth is getting in the way of some vocals, we need you to switch it out. Now you have to go back and play all that whole track over again. So that's why I really love just using virtual instruments. It gives me flexibility for edits, everything staying in the session, and yeah, it just makes life easier at the end of the day. But if you're doing like live gigs and stuff like that, then obviously, it may be easier to have that hardware with you. So dope stuff, Betsy. Appreciate you coming through. Shout out to We Create Music TV. What's good, bro? I'm looking forward to that gear video. I will be watching that to see what kind of camera gear you are using. What's up, Reese in the building? J.R. Edwards, piano player, Columbus, Ohio. That's my guy. Go Bucks. For those of you who don't know, I'm an Ohio native, and I graduated from The Ohio State University. Shout out to the Buckeyes. I actually did, fun story, so it kind of came full circle. I actually produced this little collage of fight songs for Brutus the Buckeyes birthday. It was like, I forget what year, he's old, but it was like his birthday celebration. And shout out to my guy, shoot, names are slipping me right now, but yeah, made that happen. That was super fun. What's up, Immaculate? Welcome. Motif, man, listen. Motif is my instrument. Let me see what Instagram is talking about over here. Somebody says ASCAP or BMI. It's up to you, man. Like, you know, you gotta kind of do some research, figure out which one works. They all kind of do the same thing. I see somebody mention that pitch. I keep hearing about that. What's up, Isaiah? Let's see. Oh man, I'm like, it's a whole bunch of let's see. We got Metro ATL, we got Texas, we got Dallas, Houston. That's what's up. Morgan said libraries generally register them if the library is exclusive. Differs in non-exclusive libraries. That's a great point. I'm glad Morgan mentioned that, because yeah, if it's not, like, I know the non-exclusive stuff would usually be registered. Like, I would register that because it's on like, I would upload it to different sites, like pond5.com, where people will just come and freely license stuff. And I've actually had something end up on TV just from, you know, a Pond 5 purchase. So because I had that registered, I was able to collect some performance royalties off of that. So super good point. Joseph Ferguson is also a former Buckeye and former AAV. Yo, we got AAV in the building. That's what's up. Shout out to the African American Voices Gospel Choir. I played for them for years while I was at O State, man. A lot of growth happened there. Shout out to AAV. Immaculate says all he's been using is Complete 13 since I got it, and the beats are sounds a lot better. Yeah, man, like, you can't go wrong with Complete, like, at all. Like, those, like, I'm using everybody asks me, like, what am I using for sounds? It's either something from Complete or Omnisphere 2. And believe it or not, I use one of the stock pianos in Logic, one of the Steinways. I don't know, I like that piano a lot, so I use that quite a bit too. Somebody said go blue, we're gonna have them banned and never to return again. It's like, nah, yeah, go blue. So funny story, I married a Michigan fan. I don't know if all my Ohio State friends know this or not, but my wife loves Michigan because her family's from there. I got fam from Michigan, but I will never rep the blue. So when it's college football season, me and her are kind of on different pages. So yeah, it can get a little competitive over here. Betsy says, thanks, Clint. Appreciate you sharing all your expertise. No problem. That's what I'm here for, to help you people get unstuck and avoid common mistakes. Somebody says, when is Complete the Beat coming back around? Yo, man, it's coming. Everybody been asking me about it, man. I'm gonna make it happen. It is definitely coming. Somebody says, do you have any thoughts on songs written, recorded with instrumentals on BeatStars or SoundClick? Yes, I do have thoughts on that. If you're trying to pitch them for licensing, you are potentially looking at the biggest headache ever that you want to avoid, especially if it's something that's been leased over and over and over again, right? So this is what can happen. So say this beat has been leased like 1,000 times. So you got artists all over the world with the same beat. Now you have the issue of trying to pitch something, and honestly, it's going to depend on the contract with the producer too, because you may not even have rights to pitch it for TV and film or broadcast or whatever. But say you did, and then it gets placed, and then all these artists, or the instrumental gets placed, the instrumental of your full song, and you have all these other artists like, yo, that's the instrumental to my song. No, that's the instrumental to my song. You got like 1,000 artists coming out of the woodwork like, yo, that was the instrumental to my song. So now who owns the song? Like, nobody knows. So guess what happened? Everything stops. So royalties can stop because they're trying to figure out who owns what. You could potentially lose the relationship with the person that pitched or used the song, because they don't want to keep going through these headaches of clearances and trying to figure out who owns stuff. And you just don't want to be in that situation and miss out on future opportunities because it was hard to work with you, because it just causes things to kind of get caught up. So I would avoid that. If you're really focused on the TV and film, I would say get like exclusive music, exclusive beats and instrumentals made for you, so that for a fact, like, this is something that you all created together. There won't be any headaches, and you can actually get in touch with the producer, because he's gonna have to sign off on it as well, since he's one of the owners of that master. So something to just keep in mind if that's what you're trying to do. But if you're not focused on TV and film, like, I mean, I don't see anything. It makes sense, you know what I mean? To put content out there, release songs, start building a fan base and things like that. But yeah, I say, and even if you're a producer leasing beats online, like I have beats that I lease online, but I keep them separate from what I'm doing on the licensing side. So that's how I kind of prevent people from having the headaches of, figuring out who owns what. So yeah, that was a really good question. I'm glad you brought that up. For the new people coming in, let me know where you're from, what you do, and let me know how I can help. I'm gonna check the Instagram, see what they're talking about. Somebody bad at Math Ray says, how are you able to sell music royalty free when you are signed up with a pro? Are there any conflicts, or do you specifically choose which tracks are tracked with the pro? I don't sell music royalty free. I have loops that are royalty free, but I don't have like full tracks. Like, I don't do like Epidemic. What is it? Epidemic Sound or Music. I think they do like the royalty free model for music. I don't do it. It doesn't make sense to me. And then you can't even be registered with the pro to be signed with Epidemic and work with them. So like for me and what I do, like it just doesn't work for what I do. I need those royalties. So yeah, that's a good question. I don't make anything but loops. Can I get placements? So I guess the question would be, why do you only make loops? Unless that's your thing, that's your specialty. But if you do loops, like you can be creative though. So say you only do loops. You can collab with a producer who may not be good at loops or melodies or whatever. And then you guys can collab that way. You produce the loops and then he finishes the track, and then he can kick you a percentage. So you can get, I don't know, 10, 15, whatever y'all agree on, you get a percentage. So you guys own this track together, and now you can work to pitch it for TV and film. Immaculate Beat says something fishy about the you can't be registered with the pro model. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I get why they do it, because they wouldn't be able to do what they do without doing that, but I don't rock with it. We Create Music says that's so crazy. Yeah. Explain doing placements as a record label. I mean, it's the same thing. Same approach. You're just a label. Like so if you're a record label, then usually the record label owns the masters, right? So if you get an agreement like a sync deal, instead of you, the artist, like signing off on, the rights to the master, to use the master or whatever, then the record label would sign that portion. It just depends on the deal and how the contract is structured. Sometimes you have that, this kind of all-inclusive joint, but yeah, just depends. But yeah, usually the record label, it just changes who's signing what in regards to the master recording. AD Polo said, I experienced that with the beat situation. I sold 5 million ringtones for Crank That Scooby-Doo, but Soulja Boy got all my money because beat was too similar. Crazy, man. Do you need to be American to use BMI? That's a good question. I don't know, honestly. Like, I know they have like partnerships around the world. If you're not, but I don't know how that works. Honestly, I don't know. That's a different situation. Stella Rose Beat says, what are your thoughts on ClickFunnels, and is that the new way for selling beats? That's a great question. So let's talk about this. Cause I've been seeing both sides of it, right? I've been seeing producers talking about this is stupid. This is a scam, like just ridiculous stuff, right? And those kind of comments come from people who either one, don't understand, they're ignorant in by definition of, you just don't understand something, or just closed-minded, right? Like ClickFunnels to sell beats. The concept of ClickFunnels, the concept of a funnel is nothing new. Like, it's everywhere. Like, it's at McDonald's. Like, I don't know if you noticed or not. It's at McDonald's, it's at grocery stores. You go to the store, you go to Walmart, you go for what you're trying to go for. You go to the checkout line. All the stuff on the side, the candy, the gum, the chips, those are upsells. It's a part of a funnel. You spend more money when you're checking out because you see all these goodies right before you check out. You go to the mall and the Chinese restaurant or the Asian restaurant give you those toothpicks with the free chicken. Y'all know about the free chicken on the toothpicks. That's a funnel. They giving you something free, something of value, because you walking through the mall hungry. You know you hungry, so you're going to take that free chicken. The chicken going to be good, and then you're going to want more chicken. You're going to go buy chicken. That's a funnel. McDonald's, like, they don't just, like, they have you can buy just a burger, you can buy just fries, right? But they put all this stuff together. They put a whole package, a whole combo together, and then give it to you for like a super dope price. and then it's like, yo, this is a good deal. Why would I not just get the whole combo? It's gonna be more expensive to get everything separate versus getting the combo. So then you buy the whole combo. So it's a part of a funnel. It's sales, man. This is how every business does business. So I think it's dope. Shout out to my guy Gabe, who like has the funnel, selling beats on funnel game like on lock. Like the dude is a genius. Gabe from Legion Beats, that's my guy. It works. It just works. But like you can't start it, right? You can't. It's not something that like you get into and then you set everything up and then you try and see if it works and it doesn't work and you just like, oh, this doesn't work. It's like it's a lot of testing that goes into it as well. So you got to kind of go through that process of testing things out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and just optimizing it until it works. So I think it's a brilliant idea. Like the fact that he brought that over to the music production community was genius. But it's something that's been around for a long time in other industries. But for whatever reason, music people just never, I don't know, like producers in general, just never thought to like put the two together. So I think it's dope. Ty Temple, what's good? Clint, been following your stuff recently and it's been helping me a lot. Girl, as a musician and a producer, do you have any internships or apprenticeships? That's what's up, man. Thank you. I'm glad the information is helping you. Glad you're growing and taking action on everything that I be talking about on here, getting out of breath and thirsty and stuff. So I appreciate that. I don't have any internships or apprenticeships or anything like that. But I definitely appreciate you asking, because you never know unless you ask, right? What's up, Floric from Jacksonville, Florida? We Create Music TV said our ecosystem is based on our music being able to flow freely to all our customers. To do this, we're required to be the sole owner of the financial rights to our music. Super well said. Hold on, there's another part. There's a part 2. This isn't possible if an artist or music creator is affiliated with a collecting society. Oh, he's reading like the reason why Epidemic Sound can't be affiliated with a collecting society. So this is good. Let's read this. It says, due to their exclusive affiliation agreements. Although we like for this to change in the future, we can't circumvent this issue at the moment. So that's the reason why. I'm gonna read it again. Our ecosystem is based on our music being able to flow freely to all our customers. To do this, we're required to be the sole owner of the financial rights to our music. This isn't possible if an artist or music creator is affiliated with the pro due to their exclusive affiliation agreements. So that's it. That's from Epidemic Sounds on the pro issue. Thanks, We Create Music TV, for that. That was super dope. What's up, November James? November says, I visited your products on your site. Do you offer consulting services on matters that may not be covered in any of your products, or is there everything to know inside your product and services? So I guess it really depends on what you're trying to learn or what questions you have. Most of the questions most people ask me, usually it can be covered either in my licensing course, mixing course, have a social media course, YouTube course, but yeah, and then how to structure instrumentals for TV. I have that as well, video course. But no, I do one-on-one consultations as well. If there's something like you're stuck with, or you need like tailored advice based on your specific situation, absolutely, definitely do one-on-ones. If that's something that you're interested in, just go to ClintProductions.com/link in bio, and then just book a consultation, and we can hop on a Zoom call, chop it up, see what's up, see what you're struggling with, and give you that tailored advice. So yeah, definitely do that. If the course is don't answer your question directly, absolutely, that's available. What's up, John Tyndall? Immaculate Beat says, do you ever go through IMDb when looking for shows and movies to pitch to? And if so, how has it worked for you? Dude, I'm on IMDb just as much as Google, man. Like, that joint is it's a wealth of information. So I'll tell you situations where I pull out my phone and hop on IMDb. Usually I'm like watching something, like a show or a movie, and then I hear music and I'm like, yo, that's dope. Or being completely honest, I'll hear something where I'm like, yo, this music is kind of trash. Like, let me see who did the music so I can help them out and send them some quality records, man. So I'll approach it both ways, and I'll pull out IMDb and try and see if I can find some information on the music department. And then from there, I'll start doing my research on that person or that company. And then I'll go ahead and reach out. And then sometimes I'll dig even deeper and see if they're working on like current projects or something in the past. And I'll just start studying, man. And then when I reach out, I'm mentioning specific things that they're working on, so it don't look like I'm just like randomly reaching out trying to get something from them, but just let them know that I've been checking out their work, and that can go a long way. So yeah, love IMDb. Upsells, yeah, man, upsells are everywhere. Like, look around. I challenge y'all to like look at everything. Like, when you just going throughout the day, throughout the week, doing different things, just look around. Like, you'll notice upsells, you'll notice funnels. They're just in different forms, man. Like, they're everywhere. It's crazy. And it's sometimes like you just talking to people, just in the mall. Yo, like, shout out to the people that be in the mall, like, just cold selling. Like, you gotta just spark up you gotta catch somebody's interest on the spot. Like, that's hard. If you can do that, you can do anything in life. Like, I feel like, cause that joint, I can't do it, man. Cause I'm not gonna force you to get anything. You tell me no, all right, you don't need it. I'm not gonna convince you. But yeah, man, you gotta have that'll build your skin up. Like, if y'all scared, go get a job doing some cold sales with the little tables in Walmart and the mall, and that'll get your skin thick. Cause you're gonna hear a lot of no's. Shout out to LW. LW says, I heard you make free beats for people from Ohio. ClintMusic, is that true? LOL. Nah, that's a rumor going around. I don't know who started that rumor. Appreciate you, LW, for coming through. Sharp Moore. Epidemic Sounds only pay up front, for what I understand. Yeah, that's what I understand as well. Like, they just, they pay you up front. One thing I would be curious about, and I don't know if this is on their website, and I don't know if anybody has experience with Epidemic Sound, like, let me know. But I wonder if you just get the upfront fee and then like that's the end of it, or do they collect the royalties for you and then pay you out royalties, kind of acting like a like a pro or whatever, since they have exclusivity in the financial aspect of things. So that's something I wonder. But if it's just one fee, like, I give you this, I get a few $100s, and then like I don't see anything else, or if it's like a per license basis, like I don't know. I need some insight, because I don't see the value in just some things. I mean, a few tracks, all right, that's fine, but you talking like my entire catalog and like getting no residual income, like that's I can't swallow that. That's tough. The soap people in the mall who are the hardest salespeople on planet Earth. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, yeah. Like, it's so funny because when you see them, like, you already know, like, man, they about to get me. Like, you be trying to cut the corner real quick and you can't make eye contact, man. Once you make eye contact, it's over. Like, they got you. Like, you have to talk to them now. They looking at you. But it's funny though, cause like we go a couple times a week. Like when it was cold, we would take our son up to the mall, just walk around the mall, and like they would try and get fancy and like give you a compliment first. They're like, "Oh, I love your shoes." It's like, bro, these shoes are busted, bro. Like they cracked on the back, the plastic is hanging off. These shoes ain't dope. And they try and give you a compliment to start the conversation. And it's just like, you don't want to be rude, but you just like, man, I'm not interested. I don't need new windows, man. I'm good. My internet service provider is fine. It works. I'm sorry. Man. Morgan McKnight. Okay, we got some answers, y'all. Shout out to Morgan, man. Shout out to Morgan. Shout out to the Production Music Association. Great association if you are in the music licensing space. A lot of dope information. So she says, one-time fee. You can't be registered to a pro if you're signed with Epidemic. So it's just a one-time fee. No royalties. Yeah. I need royalties, man. I love royalties. Cause you got like, I want you guys to think about the future. Like, don't think about like right now. That's how a lot of people get caught up, like on the major label side, like get these advances, because they're just thinking about right now. Like, I need money right now, and I get it. Like, sometimes you need money right now, but like, don't like get locked into something that can't continue to make you money, like for the rest of not even your life, like the rest of the music's life. And then I think plus like an additional, I don't know, what is it, 25, 35 years, something like that. But yeah, like I gotta think about the future too. So something to keep in mind. Do you think, Boy Wonder says, do you think the sync licensing market is getting oversaturated? All right. Oh, I got my Instagram up. So I just read an article on Variety. It said like Amazon just spent like billions of dollars creating content, or like original shows, series, movies, all that stuff. Amazon, you already not Amazon, Netflix, you already know Netflix spending bread on content. It seemed like every other week somebody's coming out with a new streaming services. So you got like HBO Max, Disney, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, whatever. All these places are like creating content, man. And like I said, like there's not just one person creating the music for all this stuff. So the short answer is no, it's not oversaturated. Plenty of opportunity. You just have to find where you fit, find your niche, and go for it. Because the longer you wait, you know what I'm saying? Like the opportunity's gonna keep coming. Like music is everywhere, and even if you don't get into TV and film, like you got video games, you got apps, you have restaurants, retail stores, you got corporate videos, you have infomercials, which is like literally that's a thing. Like I reached out to one company when I was first getting started and trying to get those 10 TV placements in a year. I reached out to one company and he hit me back and he was just like, we actually like focus on infomercials, like music for infomercials. So he was just like, the length has to be a little longer and it kind of has to loop around. to play throughout an infomercial. I was like, yo, I didn't even know that was a thing. He was like dead serious. And then he, you know, I went to his site and just listened through some of the stuff, and it's like infomercial music. Like, it has a sound. So nah, man, like, it's not saturated. Everybody needs music. Music creates the mood, it creates the vibe, it creates everything. It's a good question. I get that question a lot. And then it was like, I showed a cue sheet from a reality show I had music on. I probably had like 2 or 3 placements on that one episode, but there was like 140 something cues in total on one episode of a, you know, of a series. So multiply that by, like, I don't know, however many episodes you have in a season, and those are all opportunities. November James says the cheat code to the mall sales folks is to walk in the mall with your phone up to your ear. They're reluctant to interrupt your call. He just gave us a cheat code, yo, to avoid salespeople. That's amazing. That's the cheat code. I hope everybody got it. Paramount, yeah, I heard Paramount's coming out with a streaming service. So yeah. Isaiah on Instagram says, do libraries keep your music normally after exclusive deals, or is it only exclusive during the deal? It depends on the deal, but usually there's some type of term to the deal. And when I say term, usually a term is like a length, years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. So usually, you know, there's some type of term to where you can get out of it. You can pull your music out of the catalog. You give them a written notice. And then, you know, sometimes they'll continue to collect for a certain period after you pull your music out, just because, you know, it takes time for things to kind of roll around. And then, yeah, but then once it's out, then you can send it to someone else. But then there are some deals where it's just in perpetuity, which means forever. So make sure y'all read y'all's contracts, man. Morgan says exclusive libraries generally own the rights in perpetuity. So yeah, make sure y'all like read those joints. Because if you see that term in perpetuity, it's forever. Something else to keep in mind. Boy Wonder says, should you build a small catalog first before submitting music, like building up your skills of consistently making music? Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to make sure your skills are there before pitching stuff. But it's like, you don't have to have like a massive 200 song catalog either. You know what I mean? Like when I started, I had a solid playlist of like 10 tracks, and what that did was just kind of gave them an example of my work, allowed me to get my foot in the door. They knew I could produce based off of these 10 tracks. And then from there, you know, sometimes you're getting briefs, so they're asking you to make specific things. Anyway, so you can always create more music. But yeah, just make sure, you know, your stuff is good. You can create more like that if they like what you send, and then just kind of go from there. So Morgan says, which in perpetuity means forever. Some will negotiate a 3 years or 5 years term, but generally those songs belong to that library forever. Thank you for that, Morgan. Yeah, I know a lot of people. A lot of people get nervous when they hear the term forever. But in perpetuity, this is from Morgan. But in perpetuity is not something to be scared of. That just means they can continue licensing that track. It makes admin way less complicated, and you will still earn royalties as it's used. Exactly. Because like some people ask me, exclusive versus non-exclusive or whatever. And I have deals with some companies where it's in perpetuity. When I send it to them, that's it. This is gonna be with them forever. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, you can always make more tracks. And then it's the dope thing about licensing is that, like, and depending on what kind of deal you sign. Like, I know some people may have a pub deal and everything has to go through that one publisher, but in the type of deals that I do, it's, I can work with this library that it may be in perpetuity, but I can still make different tracks with another library, and still be free to work with multiple libraries. So it's not like you're tied down to just making tracks for this one library. And like Morgan said, they're gonna just keep licensing it. They have the right to continue to generate income for that track forever. So the point is making sure your music is working for you. Put it in places where it can work for you, and you want it to work for you like forever, past death. Like, you want to keep collecting. It does. I posted on my Instagram the other day, like, I'm not totally against music sitting on hard drives, but it's just like, yo, make sure it's on the right hard drive. Make sure it's on someone's hard drive that's making money for you. Most cases, that's not your hard drive, so you got to get it off your hard drive and onto somebody else's. Let me see. Immaculate says, yep, just like the actor Jason Weaver, who was the voice of Simba. He passed on $2 million so that he can keep collecting his royalties from the songs he performed. Yeah, facts. Like, yeah, that was definitely a business move. Because, like, anytime somebody's giving you like some upfront money, and they're like, this is all you're gonna get, like, a lot of cases, they know like they about to make way more than what they about to kick off up front. So just keep that in mind. Tracy Brown, hey Clint, thank you so much for the critique. Last YouTube session made a huge difference. Dope, man. Glad that helped. Can you approach a production/TV show directly, and if so, who is the person to contact? Usually not directly. That's tough, but there's different people who work in the music department. You can try that. A lot of times they have like their established relationships with music soups or libraries and different companies and publishers that provide music. The easiest way, man, is to really get connected with the companies who are supplying music and who already have the relationships with the people who are placing the music in those shows. That's the best approach. Because like I said, they have relationships. They like to work with who they work with. They like to know who they can rely on. So trying to just come out the blue and forge a relationship with a TV show or movie producer or supervisor or editor or something like that may be a little more challenging. Good question though, Tracy. Morgan said Diamond Nova, the Production Music Association libraries are a really good place to start. They're all generally exclusive and have standard deals. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember like when I first got started, a buddy of mine, he was adamant on like only working with libraries who were a part of the Production Music Association. They look out for us, man. Make sure we're being treated fairly. Morgan, if you could please leave a chat and let the people know what the PMA is and what you guys are about, and where they can find more information, because I think it's super dope. No, I appreciate you. Morgan is legit, just in case y'all don't know. Black Keys Music on Instagram says, how many tracks should you have before sending them out? I mean, a decent amount, like 5 to 10, as long as you can like create more, right? You want to be able to give a good representation of what you can do, what you can produce, and all that dope stuff. Aaron Hall, what's good? Brooke just had to go follow Morgan. Absolutely, Morgan, followers are coming your way. FYI. Shar, we got a question. What time is it? I'll take a few more questions. When joining BMI, do you have to register an instrumental right away, or can I join just to get my IPI CAE number to have, so when I pitch to TV and film, I can have that number ready to give them? Yeah, absolutely. Like, you don't have to register anything right away. Like, or if you don't have anything to register with BMI, that's fine. But yeah, definitely make sure you join though, because you're definitely gonna have to have that in order when moving forward. You know, with when you start pitching and stuff like that, gotta have that. So yeah, absolutely. Somebody said, is it better to send over WAV files in your introduction or only links to your music? I don't send anything in my introduction. I've heard a couple different approaches to this. I've heard some music supervisors be like, yo, like, send me a link the first time you reach out to me, because like I'm busy, I don't have time, like, and I'd rather just click on it and just listen to it right away. And then some say don't. So I usually don't. I guess it depends. Like, if I had a conversation with somebody and it was just like, yeah, send me some music. Like, I met somebody at a networking event and it was like, yeah, send me music. Like, okay, like I have permission to send music, so I'm gonna send links however they want it or whatever. So that's a little different, but yeah, I always just ask if they're even accepting first. Like, I'm not even gonna waste email space and creating links and all that stuff unless I know that they actually need music. All right, so we got some info on PMA from Morgan. So PMA is a nonprofit membership-based association working specifically in library and production music. Any of you here are free to email me at any time if you have questions. The email is Morgan, MORGAN, at PMA Music. That's Peter Michael Alpha Music.com. That's Morgan at PMAmusic.com. If you guys have questions about PMA, which stands for Production Music Association, and membership and things like that. So yeah, appreciate you, Morgan, for sharing that with us. Yeah, super dope. Michael, what's good, Michael? Michael says, hey Clint, hope you're doing well. Been diving into a lot of your older videos. In 2020, you mentioned having a virtual assistant. Was curious how your experience was with that and if you still use one. Listen, shout out to Hannah. I've been using the same VA like since I hired her. She's amazing. She helps me out a lot. Fast learner. She even sometimes I miss things and she catches it. But yeah, she's been an amazing help to me, to my business, and just allows me to focus on what I do best, which is creating and building relationships and things like that. So she handles a lot of the admin work that I do, filling out metadata for spreadsheets and stuff like that. For those of you who got an email about this live, she handled all of that, scheduling social media posts and things like that, scheduling podcast episodes, like everything admin. Hannah's on it, and yeah, she's awesome. I've heard some horror stories about some people and their VAs and having to hire like different ones, hire and fire, but I haven't had that issue. I've been fortunate enough to have a really good VA. So yeah, it's been dope. I mean, I highly recommend it. Like if you're in a situation, especially like, when you're trying to get more time and really do more of like what you do best, go through that process of like, first sometimes you gotta kind of go through everything and do it yourself to figure out how it needs to be done. And then once you figure out how it needs to be done, you can start to create tutorials and teach other people how to do those things. So now you can delegate certain tasks so that you can do more and be more productive on what you actually do best. Cause it got to a point for me where it's like, yo, like I'm filling out spreadsheets more than I'm creating music. Like that's not fun for me. So I had to figure out a way to kind of get another set of hands and get more done, to where I'm still taking care of the important stuff, because metadata is important, like gotta have that, but still be able to free up some time to be able to create, and a VA helps you do that. So yeah, definite. But before you do that, like you have to be clear on what you want to be done. You have to be a good teacher. You have to be clear at explaining things, because a lot of stuff is in our head, right? Like we know how stuff is supposed to be done. So sometimes, and I've learned this through the process of training her on certain things. It's just like some stuff that's in my head, like, you just think, oh, that's a given. But no, like you have to be very specific when you're like training other people to do things that you've been used to doing for years, for it to be effective. So that's one tip that I would give, is like really know what you do and like how to do it, and know how to create tutorials, like step-by-step instructions and standard operating procedures and just different things depending on what you need a VA for, to clearly outline like those steps, so anybody can step in, read it, and be like, okay, I know what to do now. So yeah, communication is super, super, super key. Good question, Michael. C-Ray Beat says, when should you do the tax info? After sales or before? I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. If you can give me some details, I'll try and answer the question. Immaculate says, I took your approach to just reaching out and asking if they're looking, while also mentioning my strengths, and I usually always get a response even if they aren't looking. That's dope. Yeah. So yeah, that's usually how I approach it, man. Like, just depending on the situation. Now some sites, like, they have it to where you just upload whenever you want. So obviously you don't have to take that approach. You can just upload, or they'll have an email where they'll say, send submissions to this email. So yeah, no problem, Michael. Absolutely. Let's see what we got. Zig, what's good? Living Legends, how would you show off your work with no reference for your tracks? How would you show off your work with no reference for your track? I'm not sure. I don't think I understand the question. What's up, Interlude? All right. Who's going to get the last question of the live stream? Who will it be? Will it be YouTube or will it be Instagram? Shout out to the followers in the chat, man, responding to questions that I missed. Brooke, thank you. Somebody asked what was Morgan's IG. What's up, Remy? So it says referring to the email question, sending links. So yeah, so you show off your work once you have permission to submit, or once they say, yeah, we're accepting submissions. Usually they'll let you know how they want it. If they want a link, if they want MP3s attached, which is kind of rare, but I've seen it happen. So yeah, usually they'll let you know, and then that's your time to shine. But don't approach people, don't blow up people's emails in inboxes and just yo, I get DMs, man. It's out of control. I get DMs where there's no, it's not even a sentence. It's just a link. And what do I do with it? I don't know. So it sits there. So yeah, don't just email somebody a link and not say anything. No subject line, no hi, nothing. It's just a link. That's confusing and annoying. So don't do that. D Barlow, this is the last question of the stream. Let's see. Most proud TV moment. Dang. Most proud TV moment. This is tough. I don't know, man. My first placement, I didn't hear live. I didn't even have a TV because I stopped once I graduated college. I stopped watching TV. I was focused on music and stuff. So I didn't see that. The first one I probably heard live, while watching TV, was Keeping Up with the Kardashians. That one, I just I heard it. It was just playing in the background, and then I heard my beat. They switched the scenes, beat started playing. I was like, oh snap, that's my beat. So I felt pretty good about myself during that moment. But no, I'll say the proudest work that I've done worked on a few seasons of Born This Way on A&E. The show is amazing and inspiring. So to be a part of that, and the show, I think it had they're Emmy Award winning too. So it was just a super dope and inspiring show, well put together, super dope people cast. So being able to work on that show is something that I'm definitely proud to be a part of. So yeah, that was a proud moment. And shout out to my guy Eddie for making that happen, man. Morgan says, honestly, never send attachment. Links are almost always preferred, and Disco is becoming the industry standard for file and link sharing. Yo, Disco, I love Disco, man. I posted about it in my stories. Like, for the people on IG, go to my stories. I posted about Disco. Like, I want so bad for Disco to be like the service that everyone uses across the board when it comes to licensing music. Because it's I don't know, it's clean, it's not complicated. Some of the other sites out there is just way too complicated for no reason. It's like unnecessary information. But Disco is just like, it's dope. You can create like individual playlists. You can title the playlist. You can select if they have the ability to download or if it's just streaming. You can set it to expire if you want. You can I've seen some music supervisors where they'll have like you can create like a Disco link or like inbox and submit your stuff like straight to their Disco inbox. And then you can like ingest it from your it's next level. Like, Disco's legit. Check it out if you haven't. For my people on IG, go through my stories, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I literally just sent a link out, a playlist out this morning. So I'm definitely answering like more than that one question that I said I was going to answer. This always happens. I don't even know why I say it at this point. Like, I'll just start stopping and it's just like, I won't even say I'll take one more question. YouTube, what video editing software do you use? I've been struggling with video editing and want to grow. I use Final Cut Pro, but now I don't edit. Like, I don't edit my videos. I have an editor now, but I use Final Cut. Like, if I do have to edit something, it's in Final Cut. Shout out to Team Mac, Team Apple, and Team Final Cut Pro. Really hoping that they add Final Cut to the iPad Pro. This is good information that I'm gonna share as well. Somebody asked, who should they be signed up with to get all their royalties? So we have mechanical royalties and sync/performance. Oh wait, I might have missed some of this. Or maybe I didn't. So the original question, let's go back to the original question so we have context. What's the best way to collect your sync and mechanical royalties? BMI, ASCAP, Song Trust, or all of the above? So Morgan chimed in. She said mechanical royalties and sync performance are different. Performance royalties should be collected through your pro, which is ASCAP, BMI, CSAC in the US. If you're in another country, they have different pros in other countries depending on which country you're in. And then mechanical royalties go through Harry Fox / the MLC. So hopefully that helps you guys. Shout out to Morgan McKnight. She was definitely the MVP on today's stream. Let's give her a round of applause. We do have applause. Hold on, I got y'all. Hey, we got applause in the stream. That's for Morgan. Shout out to Morgan. We'll give her the DJ horn too. There we go. Now it's official. We Create Music says Team Apple. Absolutely, man. Team Apple all day. But I really need them to step up this. I feel like they are. Like, you don't throw 16 gigs of RAM in an iPad for like nothing to play around with some apps, like or some web browsing. So I think they're gonna do it come WWDC. I think they're going to unleash the beast that is the iPad Pro, and maybe throw some Logic Pro, some Final Cut Pro. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. Anigo said, "What's your export settings when bouncing a song out?" I have a video dropping on YouTube tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna show you 2 ways to export audio out of Logic Pro, and you'll be able to see my export settings. But as far as like 16 or 24 and all that stuff, depends on who I'm sending it to, because some companies just have different requirements. So it really just depends on what I'm working on at the time. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna show you guys 2 ways to do it. There's an easy way to knock all of them out at once, and then there's a way that I do it most of the time, which it's a few more steps, but it gives me the flexibility to create the kind of stems that I need for TV and film. So I'm gonna break that down tomorrow for you guys. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell icon on my YouTube channel. You'll know exactly when that joint drops. And yeah, we'll be good to go. So listen, guys, that was the stream. It was super dope. Shout out to our MVP, Morgan McKnight from PMA. I'm gonna have Morgan on. Morgan, we're gonna have to chop it up and see if I can get you on here live and talk to the people, man. So shout out to everybody on Instagram for coming through this the stream. Disco is definitely great. Shout out to Disco. I need to hit up Disco too, man, so we can have them on and talk about what they do and how they make everybody's life easier in music licensing. So yeah, I'm out. Thank you guys for coming through, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.